It is going to be another historic occasion for citizens and residents when, for the first time, the St. Kitts and Nevis government will pay out dividends derived from the Citizenship by Investment program. The CBI dividend will come out of retained earnings from the CBI program. According to government's own information department, SKNIS, the payments will be made through the Social Security system for two categories of persons. The first category are the pensionable and pensioners, and the second category are classified as not yet pensionable. According to SKNIS, this will be the policy going forward. The policy fits into the promise made by Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew during the elections campaign in August 2022. Government has not released an official date for the payment. However, the talk among several citizens is their hope it will be made before year-end. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
The annual sitting of the National Assembly to debate the financial statement and budgetary proposals for 2023 will be presented on December 14th at 10 a.m. at the National Assembly Chambers, Government Headquarters. The Cabinet has approved the 2023 draft estimates, the Appropriation 2023 Bill 2022, and the Appropriation 2023 Act 2012. A press release from the St. Kitts Nevis Information Service said that the standing orders of the National Assembly pronounces that when the Minister of Finance has made his or her budget speech, the motion for the second reading of the bill shall be seconded and the debate thereon shall be adjourned to a time to be named by the Minister of Finance. Additionally, Section 71 of the Standing Orders of the National Assembly states that the debate on the second reading of the bill shall be confined to the financial and economic state of the state and the general principles of government policy and administration as indicated in the bill and the estimates. The Appropriation 2023 Bill 2022 is a bill to provide for the services of St. Christopher Nevis for the financial year commencing January 1st, 2023 and ending on December 31st, 2023. The National Assembly will be broadcast live on ZIZ Radio, 96 FM, and participating radio stations. It can also be viewed on TV Channel 5 in St. Kitts and Channel 98 on Nevis. It will also be streamed live at www.zizonline.com. Copies of the bill can be found on the website sknis.kn of the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service under the section Bills when they become available. I'm Andre Huey for Skn Newsline. When you're looking to sell, buy, rent, or manage a property, your answer has to be Diamond Real Estate and Management St. Kitts, Dreams. They provide oversight of real estate and physical property in St. Kitts and Nevis, perform regular maintenance, utility payments, and safety checks to ensure your property is well kept. Dreams manages and optimizes your rental listing, recruits tenants, and much more. Looking to sell that parcel of land or property, or dreaming of owning your own? Trust Dreams under the leadership and experience of its CEO, Velma Merchant. Many can attest to her professionalism and customer service. Diamond Real Estate Management St. Kitts. Call 663-7326 or visit their office at 15 Shadwell Industrial Estate, making your real estate dreams come true. The holiday season is approaching, and now is the time to get the message out about your business. Skn Newsline introduces special advertising rates for the Christmas season with our Christmas specials. You can advertise on Skn Newsline Newscast or send special holiday greetings to the general public with our Christmas greetings on both Skn Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio at affordable prices. Call our marketing department for more information, 665-7496, or email advertising@sknnewsline.com. 'Tis the season to be jolly, so enjoy our Christmas specials at Skn Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio and promote your business the effective way this holiday season.
The Skn Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips. Nestled between evergreen mountains and the Caribbean Sea on the island of St. Kitts is the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center. With breathtaking views, A rugged, beautiful shoreline and immaculate manicured gardens make this the perfect location for your holiday, event, or wedding. With a large convention center, apartments with balconies providing stunning views, and a secluded cottage for larger family groups or honeymooning couples looking for some privacy. We have something for everyone. Book your stay at www.millhouseskn.com or visit our Facebook page, the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center, an oasis of tranquility.
Improving trade opportunities and enhancing the fiscal position of the country are among priorities identified by the Government Cabinet of St. Kitts and Nevis. Dr. Marcus Natter, the Cabinet Secretary, announced in a video report that the 5th December Cabinet meeting resulted in decisions for a consultancy for the St. Kitts Investment Promotion Agency and policy decisions regarding fiscal matters.
The Cabinet has approved a consultancy through the Caribbean Export Development Agency to assist Skipper. This initial step is a clear indication of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration's commitment to further developing international trade and helping local producers and exporters upscale and upgrade their product outputs and access new markets. In order to improve fiscal performance and achieve sustained economic growth for St. Kitts and Nevis, the Cabinet approved a medium-term fiscal framework 2023 to 2025. This framework will be used as a planning guide for the Ministry of Finance to support a multi-year performance-based budget process. By identifying the key parameters within which informed decisions could be made on the size, structure, and sustainability of the budget estimates. The medium-term fiscal objectives would be to contain the effects of the pandemic and support a sustained recovery of the economy. The medium-term fiscal framework will be updated quarterly to reflect the government's latest fiscal position.
The Cabinet also approved the protocols to amend Article 83 of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, giving individual member states more freedom on domestic matters while adhering to the CARICOM Treaty. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
Christmas in the Caribbean, filmed exclusively at the picturesque Kittitian Hill Resort, is set to premiere at Caribbean Cinemas in Bastille on Sunday, December 11th at 5 p.m. Christmas in the Caribbean, a romantic comedy, is starred by Elizabeth Hurley, Caroline Quentin, Nathalie Cox, and Eduardo Costa. The film is written by Nathalie Cox and Philippe Martinez and directed by Philippe Martinez of MSR Media Skn. In the storyline, hopeless romantic Rachel's wedding dreams are shattered when she catches her groom hightailing it out of the church minutes before they say "I do." After getting jilted at the altar, Rachel and her two best friends take her scheduled Caribbean Christmas honeymoon, where she unexpectedly finds true love under the sun. Since coming to St. Kitts and Nevis more than 18 months ago, MSR Media has produced several films in the country, including 1 Year Off, Assailant, A Week in Paradise, Christmas in the Caribbean, Christmas in Paradise, and Us or Them. The premiere of Christmas in the Caribbean will cater to 320 persons. The cast and crew of MSR Media will be in attendance. I'm Andre Huey for Skn Newsline. When you're looking to sell, buy, rent, or manage a property, your answer has to be Diamond Real Estate and Management St. Kitts, Dreams. They provide oversight of real estate and physical property in St. Kitts and Nevis, perform regular maintenance, utility payments, and safety checks to ensure your property is well kept. Dreams manages and optimizes your rental listing, recruits tenants, and much more. Looking to sell that parcel of land or property, or dreaming of owning your own? Trust Dreams under the leadership and experience of its CEO, Velma Merchant. Many can attest to her professionalism and customer service. Diamond Real Estate Management St. Kitts. Call 663-7326 or visit their office at 15 Shadwell Industrial Estate, making your real estate dreams come true. The holiday season is approaching, and now is the time to get the message out about your business. Skn Newsline introduces special advertising rates for the Christmas season with our Christmas specials. You can advertise on the Skn Newsline Newscast or send special holiday greetings to the general public with our Christmas greetings on both Skn Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio at affordable prices. Call our marketing department for more information, 665-7496, or email advertising@sknnewsline.com.
'Tis the season to be jolly, so enjoy our Christmas specials at Skn Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio and promote your business the effective way this holiday season.
Online radio has never been this great. It's Voice of the Caribbean Radio at voiceofthecaribbean.net. Tune into Voice of the Caribbean Radio for great Caribbean programs, news, entertainment, sports, and current affairs. Wake up each morning and be inspired with One Day at a Time with Kim Huey. Stay abreast with news across the Caribbean and internationally with the Caribbean News Hour, and be entertained with shows like Reggaeville, Caribbean Classics, and Jive Music Show. Visit our website, download our Android mobile app, or listen us on TuneIn Radio. There is so much more on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, reaching the Caribbean and beyond. Check website or app for program schedule.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one. If you're looking for a place to host that special event, conference, meeting, social event, party, whatever the occasion, your best option is the Millhouse Convention Center in Palmetto Point, St. Kitts. Located on the picturesque Garvey's Estate, the Millhouse Guesthouse Convention Center has enough space for outdoor events overlooking the Caribbean Sea. If you're looking indoors, the center is equipped with amenities needed to make your event a success. And by combining both spaces, you're sure to have a memorable event, no matter the occasion. Call the offices at Millhouse Guesthouse and Convention Center to book your next event on simply the most beautiful place in St. Kitts. Call 668-1392. Millhouse Convention Center at Garvey's Estate, Palmetto Point, St. Kitts. Making your event memorable.
And it's said to be the most enduring trade embargo in modern history, stretching all the way back to 1962. But Cuba is by no means the only ones rebuking the decades-old policy that prevents American businesses, as well as those organized under U.S. law, from conducting trade with Cuban interest. Long condemning the move is the Bahamas, with Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, today reminding delegates attending the Cuba-CARICOM summit in Barbados that the policy is not only wrong, but it is causing harm, and as such, should not be supported, but rather refused.
In our discussions with our American friends, we've made the point to them that there is a particular problem whenever these measures that they seek to implement on a bilateral basis against Cuba causes a security problem for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, because it forces people to flee their own country, and they end up very often as refugees in the Bahamas. And this causes political problems in the South, in South Florida, which has often led to the physical attack of our consular services in Miami, in the city of Miami. So we've asked them, and we continue to ask them, to change the policies.
The budget passed in the first quarter of 2022 is financed in part by borrowing. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre sought to fulfill the government's obligations by seeking parliamentary approval for a U.S. $100 million loan from Taiwan's Export-Import Bank to support that budget. But some of the funds will be allocated to meet the interest payments of central government's bonds and notes, as well as pay down the debt. This will save St. Lucia $4 million on interest payments.
Central government debt, Mr. Speaker, stands at $3.9 billion, of which bonds and notes contribute 51.6% of the debt portfolio and is the most expensive of the government debts. The average interest rate of bonds are 7% and account for 97 million in interest payments annually. Significantly reducing this interest expense can result in savings in excess of $40 million annually. This component of the project will support government's ongoing expenditure that is a mark towards economic recovery post the downturn in economic growth experienced by St. Lucia of over 26%. Mr. Speaker, what this means is that the government will try to convert some of the short-term loans into longer-term instruments, just saving on interest payments. Some $40 million worth of interest payments will be saved, which can be used for other purposes, Mr. Speaker. That is called reprofiling of the loans.
PSS part of the country's whooping debt profile includes the head-scratching land acquisition liabilities of the former Alan Chasney-led UWP administration. According to the incumbent, as part of a pro-growth strategy for capital projects, the previous regime acquired vast swaths of territory throughout the island, contrary to the advice of the then opposition, which warned that a huge bill would come due.
When you speak of $60 million in land acquisition cost that has to be paid, that was not done by us in 17 months. It wasn't. But we have an obligation to meet those costs. We have. Like the member from Catches North said, it is grossly unfair to take somebody's property and make them suffer and wait for years to get their money. It's wrong. We talk about payables, Mr. Speaker. Over almost 130 odd million dollars in payables when we came in.
But Roselle Saltibus MP Bradley Felix claims that some of these liabilities preceded the Chasney regime, calling for a revision of the interest rates.
He was very careful to indicate that it's not just within the 17 months in office, but he very carefully crafting his words to suggest that that $46 million in land acquisition was during the last chain of the administration. That's not the case, Mr. Speaker. That goes a lot further than that. And we all know that land acquisition is necessary for various public development for the benefit of the country. But he also spoke, Mr. Speaker, with regards to the 6% rate that has to be repaid with regards to the value of the land. And maybe, Mr. Speaker, there's no bank that gives you 6% on your money now. Maybe the timing is right for us to also look at adjusting the interest that we pay.
Funds from the loans will also go towards public health expenditure.
Will cover retroactive payments for liabilities incurred related to the health center. And Mr. Speaker, that means that the debt that we have for quarantine, we inherited a lot of these debts, Mr. Speaker. These debts are going to be paid from that loan, Mr. Speaker. Because as you know, COVID was very expensive, and in spite of the fact that the last government borrowed over $200 million during that period, there are still debt and liabilities left to be paid. So this loan will help pay some of this inherited debt.
In addition, the Prime Minister disclosed that the loan will help finance recurring obligations, capital expenditure, and settle long-standing cash flow issues. Gino Filippi, HTS News Force.
US basketball player Brittany Griner has been released by Russia in a prisoner swap. The two-time Olympic gold medalist was arrested in February and sentenced to 9 years in prison in August. She was convicted of smuggling and possessing cannabis oil. Let's go live now to Moscow. Al Jazeera's Ali Hashim is there. Ali, tell us more about this release and what Russia's foreign ministry is saying about it.
Yes, Adrian. Victor Bout, the Russian arms dealer, has been swapped to the U.S. basketball player Brittany Griner. and that took place in Abu Dhabi's airport. This is what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here in Moscow said, that the Russian national has been extradited, or at least swapped with a basketball player who was imprisoned here in Russia. This is the only line we read from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that said that more information is expected to be announced in the coming hours. However, this swap comes only 24 hours after a phone call between the Russian President Vladimir Putin and the President of the Emirates, Mohammed bin Zayed. This could put in, we can put this into context, whereas since this swap took place in the Emirates, in Abu Dhabi, then this Emirati role was clear in the swap operation. So this is all what we know till the moment. We are waiting to know when Victor Bout is going to arrive here in Moscow, especially that the whole thing happened away from media. Now everyone is knowing about this because it's being announced. But however, the swap took place, and each of the prisoners went to their country. We don't know if the Russian national has already arrived in Moscow or not. This is to be. He already arrived. Now I know that he already arrived in Moscow. So he's now in Moscow, and so the whole operation took place and it's complete.
And what do we know about this man, Victor Bout? He was an arms dealer, right?
Well, what we know about him is that he's a Russian. He's an arms dealer, and he was arrested in the U.S. and was imprisoned there. He was serving a sentence in the prison. That's what we know. We know also that Brittany Griner was arrested here at Moscow's airport for having cannabis, as the Russians said. And these issues are quite very, very critical, very sensitive. So this is the much that we know about what happened just like few minutes ago. So I wouldn't be able to really elaborate more on this issue except what we've heard.
Ali Hashem reporting live there from Moscow. Well, President Biden said that he's spoken with Brittany Griner. He's tweeted at the moment, she is, a few moments ago, she's safe, she's on a plane, she's on her way home. The president said he is intending to make a statement within the hour. We'll bring that to you live if we can here on Al Jazeera.
Right now, doctors and pharmacists in Ohio are warning they're in the middle of a real Tamiflu shortage, as we're seeing people get sent to the hospital for the flu at the highest level in 10 years. You probably know Tamiflu, right? You pop it in your mouth, you get it for the flu or for RSV or something like that, some sort of respiratory infection. But because the flu came a lot earlier this year, the treatment's become hard to find. And this kind of shortage is not just happening in Ohio, it's happening across the country with some other drugs, too. Jesse Kirsch has more.
Hallie, at least one health system near Cincinnati telling us that they are seeing localized shortages of Tamiflu, and this is coming as we continue to see the virus surging across much of the country. Public health officials in Cincinnati say they are seeing what they call a, quote, strong early flu season. And we asked them about Tamiflu supply, and they told us that, in part in a statement, quote, while the supply of Tamiflu has been lower than usual, most people with the prescription have been able to find a local pharmacy with it in stock. Our Chicago station, WMAQ, says that CVS told them, in part, quote, while we're not experiencing a widespread shortage of Tamiflu at this time, we are seeing increased demand at our stores nationwide and sporadic shipping from select manufacturers, adding, in part, there will be increased instances when individual pharmacies could be temporarily out of stock. WMAQ reports that Walgreens also said that there are, quote, temporary and isolated shortages of Tamiflu at its pharmacies. That healthcare system near Cincinnati says that it is prioritizing giving Tamiflu to patients who, quote, are at higher risk of influenza complications, who have symptoms less than 48 hours. That medical team recommending you go to the emergency room if you experience symptoms including shortness of breath, chest pain, confusion, or if you're feeling lethargic. There is another medication that St. Elizabeth Healthcare, the team in the Cincinnati area that we spoke with, referred to. But that medication can be quite pricey. They say around $160 to $180 for the single dose needed. It is also something that team says should not be prescribed to pregnant women. So obviously the options can be somewhat limited in this space. Public health officials recommending that some of the best things you can do to protect yourself: get vaccinated, practice good hygiene, and if you are not feeling well, stay home. Hallie?
SKNFA Technical Director Lenny Taylor is introducing a new culture to St. Kitts and Nevis football. He is infusing a universal football philosophy across all the national teams of the Federation. That means each team will have a particular brand of football unique to St. Kitts and Nevis.
The older players, the younger players look up to the older players, and they see the older players doing the correct thing. It'll inspire them for them to do the same. So all players will know the position they play, the roles and responsibility of the position, and if the younger players go to the game to see, say, the senior players playing, and I'm playing number 6, the roles, the attacking roles of the number 6, the defensive roles of the number 6, they should identify it with the older kids. So if all teams are playing the same system, the same philosophy of play, then it is easier to catch the fire across the program, because it would not be just kicking the football, but performing, the roles and the duties that each player has to do in their position. So that's very, very important.
This philosophy, he noted, is something that is being instilled in all national teams now during training, which takes place at the SKNFA Technical Center.
Absolutely. The coaches are understanding now the methodology, and all coaches we want to approach from the same general acceptable principle, so that when they leave, the under 14 gets to the under 15, it's just a repetition with a little bit higher technical challenge than they were when they're under 14, So it's coming on well. Here today we have the girls, and we are introducing them to the same philosophy, and we believe within the year, I think the St. Kitts and Nevis football will be somewhat different.
Coach of the senior women's team, Samuel Phipps, agrees with this new approach.
Well, that is important when you step in from team to team. So, for instance, the under 14 going up to the under 17, I think it's important so that you could fit in to that philosophy and play the same type of football. I think a brand of football is important for our country.
With all the teams improving and playing a similar brand of football, the technical director expects a marked improvement in St. Kitts Nevis football soon.
Welcome to the Skn Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. For a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.